This is me. There's only two things that you can do to get this stupid look on my face. One, a Chipotle gift card, no matter what the price value is. And two, putting anything Star Wars related right in front of me. In this situation, it is Galaxy's Edge. Hey, look at that. Look how happy I am. Now, remember that. The reason why I make this video is not only did I get to go to Galaxy's Edge finally, after long last, but the internet is on a mission right now. The internet is on a mission to get you to hate everything Star Wars related, especially Galaxy's Edge. There's a lot of controversy that's going around it, about it being empty, about it being not as successful as it should be, employee hour cuts, just a whole lot of crap, a whole lot of YouTubers and other people out there who just throwing junk around it for absolutely no reason. Anyways, the reason why I'm here is to tell you that Galaxy's Edge is not that bad. It's not perfect. There's definitely a lot of room for improvement. However, it's a good place. It's a great place to be. Let's see here. So, I want to go down the list of a few claims that the internet has about Galaxy's Edge. Number one, the internet claims that it is a ghost town. Now, this picture was taken about a week ago, and as you can tell, there are people here at Galaxy's Edge. So I do not believe it is a ghost town. There was an 80-minute wait at Smuggler's Run, which I'll talk about later because that ride is really cool. I was at one of the gift shops here at Galaxy's Edge, and I went to the lanyard shelf, picked up a lanyard, walked around with it, debating whether or not to buy it. I tried to put it back, but there were people just putting themselves in front of the shelf that I wanted to put my thing back on every single time I try to put it there. And so the thing is, there's people there. Definitely not a ghost town. Maybe it was kind of empty back when Disneyland blacked out their schedule to annual pass holders. Maybe that's why it was a little bit sparse for a while, but it's not blacked out for those people anymore. People are coming. Yeah, so, and it's pretty popular too. People really like it. Another gripe that the internet and people have about it is the really huge prices. Now, this one I kind of agree with, actually. Really big prices for all their stuff there. There's you can buy these rag dolls, like $10-12 rag dolls that are actually like $30. And what I mean by that, like, their value has $10 to $12, but they cost $30 over there. Yeah, prices are really high for stuff. A cup of blue milk, which I'll talk about later, is $8. Pretty pricey, but I'll talk about that later because this is actually really good and quite worth the price. Another complaint that people have about Galaxy's Edge is that there is no original trilogy or prequel trilogy representation. Now, personally, I do not have a problem with this. I am perfectly fine with Rey, Kylo Ren, the First Order Stormtroopers, just any one of those guys being there. Personally, I don't have a problem with that. Um, would it be nice to see original trilogy people like Luke, Han, Leia, Darth Vader? Would it be cool to see prequel people like Anakin, Obi-Wan, Padme? Um, I think that would be pretty dope. Um, an idea that I have for that, a proposal. What if Disneyland does special events every now and then when you go to Batu, Galaxy's Edge, but at different time periods? Like, one day it'll be in the time of during the Galactic Civil War, and like they make it canon where Luke, Han, and Leia visited Batu one day during the Galactic Civil War, sometime between episodes 4 and 5. And you can go there and you can see and meet Luke and Han Solo. Like, I think that's a really good way to cater to those fans. And then go back to sequel trilogy stuff and prequel trilogy stuff every now and then. Another gripe and complaint that people have about Galaxy's Edge is the lack of aliens there. And in a there was a presentation that I saw at Galaxy's Edge when I visited there last weekend. I'll get to that later, but that was one of the concerns that I had going in. I heard that there were no employees there working as aliens, just walking around. And I was like, well, the thing about Mos Eisley Spaceport, Tokadana, Maz Kanata's castle, and all those places is that there were like aliens of all shapes and sizes thriving there, and that's one of the things that makes Star Wars Star Wars. And I had that concern going in, and that is one of the elements that Galaxy's Edge is lacking, but like it doesn't totally ruin it for me. I still had a good time at Galaxy's Edge, just because Galaxy's Edge is not 100% like Star Wars doesn't mean there's absolutely no simulation there. It does a really good job of putting you in a Star Wars world, even though it's still an amusement park. Like, there's no magic, like, mind soap that you go through that makes you feel like, oh man, I'm in a Star War now. Like, nothing like that. But yeah, it's still a really, really good time. One thing that I will say is that the atmosphere changes. Like, when you're walking from Disneyland to Galaxy's Edge, there's a transition in atmosphere. Like, remember what I said about not feeling like 100% Star Wars? Well, it doesn't feel like 100% Disneyland either. Like, you're clearly in a different place when you walk into here. And one of the first people that we saw going in was Rey. And that was really cool to see her because she was drawing quite a crowd. Mostly little kids, little girls, crowding around her, and it was really cool. Rey was interacting with them really well, and she was having like discussions with them, and it was really, really neat to see how many people loved this character. And I mean, not bad for a Mary Sue that nobody likes, right? But that's another argument for another video. Point I want to make with that is that people really like Rey and appreciate Rey, and that was really refreshing to see. Another point that I want to bring up is the detail that they put into this Galaxy's Edge. Like, look at this thing. That is a live action Lothcat, and I use that term live action loosely because it's just an animatronic, but it's really cool because this thing right here is in the Rebels cartoon. Actually, like, there's not a live action form of this thing in the films yet, but oh my gosh, like, they took stuff from the cartoon, brought it into Galaxy's Edge, made it look real, and oh man, it's so cool. And it's just like that around every single corner. There's blaster bolt markings on the walls, the doors slide open, and oh my gosh, every nook and cranny of this place is filled with so much detail. And like I said before, they couldn't put everything that's Star Warsy in Galaxy's Edge, like aliens and stuff, but they make up for it with the architecture and the detail. And there's little, like, houses. There's like little concrete stairs that lead up the houses, kind of like little boy Anakin's house in Phantom Menace. It's just really, really cool. So the detail at Galaxy's Edge is impeccable. Blue milk, like I'm talking about. There's me in my blue milk with my pinky out, 100% swag, and it was good. It's good stuff. It's blue milk is frothy, and it's really cool, really refreshing. Yeah, $8, kind of expensive for a little cup like that, but it's really, really good. If you have to buy anything at Galaxy's Edge, I recommend definitely getting yourself a cup of blue milk, passing it around with your friends, letting them take a swig of it. It's really good. And every single time I look at episode 4 when Aunt Beru is serving Luke blue milk, I'm just gonna be like, man, that stuff is good. That's how I'm gonna see that movie now. And Smuggler's Run, yep. That stupid look on my face again. This ride was really, really cool. It's not a state-of-the-art ride or anything like that, but it is so interactive. The story of it is you're on a mission to hijack some coaxium, and Hondo Ohnaka hires you, and I'll show Hondo Ohnaka a little bit later. But there's 6 people in the cockpit. 2 are pilots, 2 are gunners, and 2 are engineers, and they have to press buttons and stuff to make the ride work. And the cockpit is moving and shaking, and oh man, it is really great. And while you're waiting in line, you wait inside of the Millennium Falcon, where Han Solo's space chessboard is, and that whole room in there, and it's really, really cool. Like I said, detail. And speaking of detail, they made a live action rendition of Hondo Ohnaka, again a character from the cartoons, but then they just brought him to life and put him in the ride. And while you're waiting in line, there's an animatronic version of him too, and it's really cool. I'm really proud of Disneyland and all of the work and all the fine detailmanship that they put into this ride, into this land, this park. It's just good stuff. What I want to talk about next is Kylo Ren in the First Order. We went to this park twice one at the beginning of the day, once more towards the end of the day in the evening. And right as we walked in the second time, the First Order puts on this presentation. This Imperial agent, he's talking to a couple of stormtroopers, and he's like chewing them out for not finding the spy and stuff. And then Kylo Ren comes out and like he force chokes the Imperial agent for being incompetent and stuff, and their acting was really on par for that. And then afterwards they like came down and they interacted with the audience, and they were like cornering people, bullying them around and stuff, and threatening them to arrest them. And it was pretty fun to watch them walk around and do that. But a point of this that I wanted to bring up, something that the Imperial agent said, was that the Black Spire outpost on Batuu was once a ruthless place, brutal, with aliens running around and killing each other and stuff. But the First Order came in, and apparently they exterminated all of them. Now, that's a really good explanation for me as to why there's no aliens currently on Black Spire Outpost on Galaxy's Edge. And I mean, of course, you can argue, oh, that's just a lazy cop-out way that they're just not putting aliens in there. But I mean, for me, it just makes sense and stuff. And also, I wanted to talk about this. This is clearly a statue of a Jedi, I believe, and there's a place in a Galaxy's Edge where you can go build your own lightsaber and stuff, and they got lots of crystals and stuff for you to choose from to put your lightsaber in there. And like, that got me thinking, like, there's a statue of a Jedi here, and there's kyber crystals, a lot of them, enough for a dozen people at a time to make their own lightsaber. And I'm like, was there a Jedi temple on Batuu at one point? And the thing is like, they, like, the people who built Galaxy's Edge, like, not only built a park, but I feel like they also built like this whole story with it too. They put like a lot of lore and stuff in this place, and it's nothing that is very direct. Like, you gotta look at the details, the little itty bitty details, the little Easter eggs, and you gotta put the pieces together yourself. But apparently there's a lot of lore and a lot of story in this place that they've tucked away, and I think that's really, really neat. Now, just like wrapping up my thoughts here, Galaxy's Edge is a really, really fun place to go, and you know, it depends on the attitude that you bring to it. If you go there looking for how it's not Star Wars, and on how like bad it is and everything that they missed putting into it, of course it's gonna suck. But if you go there with the right attitude, with the right people, you're gonna have a really good time there. Is it 100% like Star Wars? No, it doesn't. You know what the movies are like, and you definitely don't feel like you're in one of the movies. You still feel like you're at a park, but you definitely don't feel like you're at Disneyland anymore. You're definitely in a Star Wars kind of place with a whole different tone, with a whole different atmosphere. So I think Galaxy's Edge is super great. I really want to go back, and when I go back, I plan on coming back with more money, managing my budget so I can get a lightsaber over there, because I heard that's a great experience. And yeah, I just can't wait for the next time I get to return to this place. Now, am I a shill? Do I like Star Wars a little too much? Probably, yeah. But let me tell you, I'm happy. I love it. And you know what? I'd rather be a shill and be happy than to be right and waste all of my energy with like these hateful, angry feelings towards a franchise that has done nothing but enriched my life and the lives of millions of people. And that's what I have to say about that. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, folks.